All right. Finally, a video where I'm like, all right, let me hear about that, bro, because I am into spiritualism. Spiritualism saved basically my life, bros um, and sisters, and I am really into that, and I'm not really into therapists because most of them, they studied and stuff like that, and then they just basically repeat the same things that they learned about. But, um, I think the best way to learn about yourself and why you are like that and this and that, you learn it from your own self. And that's how I learned basically almost everything, almost. I've had, of course, like a few like teachers or human beings that helped me guide the way, and that's all through internet, YouTube, and stuff like that. So first it was Sadhguru, where I'm like, this could be just a really big scammer, to be honest. Eckhart Tolle, shout out to Eckhart Tolle. His book was really good, but the best one who explained it really good was Jiddu Krishnamurti. He's already dead, but it doesn't really matter. And if you feel like you don't have any type of escape anymore and you can't take it anymore, like you really about to like KYS, then I would I would recommend you to watch some of their videos, Sadhguru, Eckhart Tolle, and then Jiddu Krishnamurti is a little bit more on the spiritual side where it's a little bit harder to understand if you are like just getting in. So you start with the scammer. I think he is a scammer, Sadhguru, but still, the things he's saying was pretty good, and also logical. But yeah, let's get into the video. Let's see how the therapist is. Let's see his view and basically my observation, like basically just observation. But let's see.
Let's get real, bro. In 30 minutes,
I hired the number one therapist to save me.
I
Okay.
have a therapy session with Dr. K. And there are topics that I want to touch on. There's a lot of things
I
that
watched a little bit, like 4 minutes or 5 minutes, and I was like, why not make a video out of that?
actually y'all probably
So
be
let's
like,
go.
yo, what does he have to be sad about?
And I will just comment if I feel like it?
I wish I was Jason. Like, I wish I looked like him. I wish I was like wake up and be Jason for a day. And I'm sure y'all think that, but Jason goes through things. Jason thinks about a lot of things after the camera's off. Jason is not just internet personality. Jason is human. And I know I see some tweets saying, "Yo, he not about to take this serious, bro." I'm about to take this serious, bro, and I'm about to be open as and vulnerable with Dr. K and y'all, bro. And maybe this is not a good idea for doing this on stream, but it, bro. Okay, just don't judge me, please.
Let's go. Let's go. That's that takes a lot of like encouragement, to do that on stream. And that's the first time. To be honest, the first time I talked to a therapist, I cried also. Yeah, I cried because I came from another video where he said he cried and he had a therapist, and I'm like, a therapist? That's basically my line.
Hello, what's
my
going on, man?
segment.
We're just chilling. I'm live as well.
Can
Nice to
can you
meet you officially.
likewise? So my name
Cool.
is
My chance.
Alok. My first credential is that I'm a degenerate gamer. I started playing video. I got bullied a lot in school. Played a lot of video games. Unsuccessfully tried to date a lot of girls between the ages of 18 and 19. Went to the University of Texas at Austin.
Wait.
Joined a fraternity. Partied a lot. Failed out of college. And then at the
What?
age of 21, I went to India to find myself. And then I found myself. Decided to become a monk. Tried to do that for about 7 years.
Like, what do you mean with finding yourself? You know, like, how did you find yourself, basically, you know? Like, all right, let's go crazy with it. Let's go really, 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 really deep with it, you know? Like, what is the self? Like, what does it mean when you say I found myself, you know? Because the self, the self is basically the ego. Yeah, that's how I should describe it. The self is basically the ego. It doesn't matter. Like, let's say I'm saying, I am spiritual. Um, that is basically the ego a little bit twisted, and then it became like the spiritual ego. That I already know. That I am not that really, but I use it still to communicate and stuff like that, because without without the self, there is no talking and stuff like that. And you don't need to talk always, but sometimes communication is good, especially between human beings. Really, communication with everything, like having a relationship with the world, with nature, everything. Um, yeah, if you say found myself, I mean, maybe he is doing it so that they understand, but to me, I'm not just that superficial. When I am doing a therapy, when I would do a therapy session, I would explain it like really deeply because that's really important. And I wouldn't even call it a therapy session because I don't want to do therapy with you, but just talk, like maybe guide you a little bit to the right direction. There is no real right direction, but if you know, if you can observe, then you already know, like, because a direction is like from one point to another point, but the the goal, is to see the whole map, not just the direction from A to B, but to see the whole map. And then you can see it really, really clearly. You see everything clearly, not just the one direction. You see everything. Like you see human beings going to this direction, that direction, this direction. And by just observing, you see it, you know? Something like that. And most of the people, of course, they go into the same direction because that's how society is built, because society is setting basically the tone for the people that are in it to do things, like we live in a capitalism capitalist world, so it's all about money, it's all about drugs, it's all about fame and cloud because of internet and stuff like that. It's and then you can see it basically. But
Met my
all right,
wife,
all right, all right.
decided the celibacy thing wasn't going to work out. She wanted to be married to a doctor, so I went to med school, became a psychiatrist, trained at Harvard, was for a few years, and then
Oh, he became a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychiatrist, so I'm just, you can call me whatever, but let's say, just for the one time, let's just say like spiritualist or something.
at some
Johnny, or my name is also okay, Jay, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter because even the name, even I like the name I am not my name, I am not my ethnicity, I am not all that I am not. Maybe in the outside world, I was born in Germany, my parents are from Laos, I am 29 years old and stuff like that. This is facts, this is biological facts, but in the spiritual or in the inside, you don't have to be anything. But we like to identify with what we are from the outside, which is wrong, you know? Because if you identify yourself like that, then or identify yourself at all, then it's you identify yourself with something, it is a personality, it is the ego that is there. So as long as you are that, you can get hurt.
Some point I was like, there's a ton of people who I can help who would pay me a lot of money, but my people are on Twitch and on the internet and there's no one helping them. Kind of left my job there, started streaming. And now I try to help people understand things from a neuroscience, clinical, or psychiatric perspective.
Jeez.
Wait, I want to do something like that, to be honest, but I don't know if I can just, I mean, it's just talking. It's not a therapy session. That's what it should be clear, I don't have to be a psychiatrist to talk with someone and try to help or guide them or just talk with them, give my honest view on it. Um, about my life a little bit. He's just said like a lot of a little bit like lazy things like I was or he is a gamer. Um then he tried to get some girls, went to college but didn't canceled I think. Then psychiatrist and then India monk and stuff like that I think because I already watched a little bit, But yeah, for me, yeah, I mean, I was born in Germany. Um, I'm Asian, my parents are from Laos. My parents got divorced when I was like 11, 12. I was always like a shy kid. Most of the Asians are shy, f- like in nature, I feel like. Not nature, maybe from, um, I would say, yeah, from like this was natural already, like always. Like I was really shy. I was fearful, you know, at a very young age when I was like 4 or 5 yeah 4 or 5. My father he liked football a lot, so he wanted to, and he also played football a lot in Laos in his home country, and me, you know, I didn't like it, or I didn't even try. But my father wanted me to try. I tried. I failed at it. I tried. I needed to basically try to score a goal against the goalkeeper, but I couldn't do it. And I think I cried right there because it was like I didn't wanna, like, my father was watching. I didn't wanna disappoint him. All that stuff. Like disappointing people. I didn't want it. Um, and that, yeah. And then I failed, and if you fail, then it's like not good, basically. So yeah, and I don't know how much I wanna say because I will tell the whole story like in another video, like in a separate video, like my life, my story, or stuff like that. Um, I studied also, became really depressed after the divorce of my parents, played a lot of games to escape reality. Then my grandpa died. Then my grandma died. Then my dog died. You know, we got her from the divorce. That was really hard. Then my other grandpa died. Other grandma died. Depression, way more. You know, someday I couldn't do it, especially after my dog died. It was really hard for me. You know, it was basically like you could say like my little sister or like daughter, you know, whatever, however you want to call it, like a family member. But of course, dogs, they never tell you anything. They are never really mad at you and stuff like that. Um, so it was like, it felt a little bit more like more unconditional love, which I like didn't get quite a lot, you know, and yeah, it was really hard. I was smoking weed, I was gaming, I was eating a lot, and I didn't want to live really, you know. Life was basically over already. Already died inside. Um, you know, I like to make it a little bit more personal because I think everybody goes through something, you know. Everybody went through, well, not everybody, but you probably will get into a relationship that is also like you get hurt also right there. And yeah, then I watched like Sadhguru videos, spiritual videos, and it was like if you are desperate and you feel like there is no way out, then you believe a lot of things, like religions and stuff like that. I could have probably also believed in a religion if the YouTube recommendation would set me up like that, but it didn't. I got a spiritual video from Sadhguru, and after that, my whole life changed, basically. I went from eating meat every day to be vegan. Now I'm vegetarian. It's a little bit hard now. Um, but yeah, never. Well, I went back to meat again one time, like for 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months, I don't know. But then, really, now it's like 3 years already, no meat and stuff like that. Um, learned a lot of my about myself. I meditated a lot, especially in the beginning, 3 months meditated every day, did breathing exercises every day because I felt so good, you know, like my ego was pushing up like crazy. You know, my ego was pushing down like in a bad place, but that's how also the ego is strengthening. You know, the ego is really has power. You know, it doesn't matter if you are like, my life is bad, my life should be over, you know, like there is no reason to live anymore. That's also where the ego is pushing, like is really strong, you know, like you hear the voice. If you hear the voice, it's the ego basically most of the times. um and yeah, like thought is the ego, the one who's talking, or multiple voices, whatever it is the ego. Okay, so yeah. And then I did the meditation, yeah, breathing exercises, and then one night, okay, I meditated quite early because like no gaming and stuff like that. I made it meditated quite early, like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Listen to meditation music, shaman drum music. The first one, like it has millions of views. It's really good. The breathing exercise from Wim Hof, and then I laid on my bed because you can, you know, sit upright like that. What is most comfortable for you? For me, the most comfortable is laying on my bed, basically really laying, closing my eyes. You know, that's how I'm getting really, really, really relaxed. So I did the breathing exercises with the music on, and the more you do the exercise, the breathing exercise, the more oxygen is in your body, and with the right food, right nutrients and stuff like that, the energy, the oxygen, then it's like a little bit like how you call it. Let me see. In German, it is kribbeln, like a tingle, yeah, a tingling, a tingling in your fingertips and a tingling in your toes. So yeah, and if you don't stop, then it is spreading. The energy, the oxygen is spreading completely your body, and then your whole body is tingling, and it feels like you are pure energy. And but the thing is, I was not there anymore. It was just observation that this is energy, but it's not just me that was pure energy, it was everything around me, you know? Like there was no concept of room and time. And that was the first time I ever had that experience. Um, yeah, the tingling everywhere, it feels like you are floating. It feels like you are everything. So the observation is like pure energy. You are just pure energy. Everything around you is pure energy. So that's how you are connected with everything. That's how I feel. That's what my observation is telling me. Um, and yeah, after that, I never had it. I had like hallucinations when I was like trying to see something. If you're really trying, then you will see something. But it's like not real because it's still from the mind, from thought, and that is the ego. But this one thing, it felt like this is really the truth. Like this is no hallucination. This is real love, real love, real truth, God, creation, whatever you want to call it, universe or whatever, energy, everything. That it was everything, and I tried to chase it again after that, from 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. I was basically like in this blissful state. Like I had no concept of time and room, and it was the most beautiful moment of my life, I would say. Um, Besides maybe LSD. Um, but yeah, no, that is really the best moment I've ever had. Like this is better than, and it sounds crazy, but this is better than intercourse, bro. Like no cap. Like I was never blissful ever in my life, and that was the first time. And I'm really grateful and thankful that I could even experience that and observe that and understand it. Well, not really understanding it because that's I mean I understand it, through oxygen and stuff like that. Everybody can do it. That's what I want to say. Everybody can do it if you really do it every day. Get more conscious about your breathing, about your thinking, about your movements, everything you do consciously. You observe it, and then you already know like everything. Okay.
What a life! I couldn't even tell you
But even at that time, I was the spiritual ego. Then later, I recognized I was the spiritual ego. I was the ego still, but the spiritual ego. And now it's like, okay, now I got it.
you were
A
being
little bit,
serious. Like
a little bit more.
you really went to India and became a monk.
I didn't become a monk. So I tried to become a monk, but my teachers wouldn't take me because they were smart and I was not. So I was 21 years old and I like spent 3 months at an ashram, which is like a mon.
Wait a minute. I was, how old was I when COVID started? Like 5 years ago? 24. 24 for me.
Monastery, and I was like, yo, I want to become a monk. And
23,
they, I think,
24. Yeah.
correctly recognized that while I was very enthusiastic, I didn't know what it means. And to be completely honest, one of my teachers was like, becoming a monk is about giving up your life, but you don't have a life worth giving up. What are you giving up? Nothing. You're running away. So he said, go and build something, go back to school, get a doctoral degree. And then at the age of 30, if you want to like work really hard in the world and then like build something and then give it up, that's totally fine. But right now you're just running away.
I think today I'm gonna be very vulnerable with you, and
Okay.
I want to say that when I'm talking, I might have a smile on my face, but like that's just how I cope with being
Okay.
vulnerable because like I don't be I'm not very vulnerable. I don't like really have someone or really am good at sharing emotions.
Okay. That
You can talk.
sounds isolating.
Hey man, I might need to do that only for Asians first because, we Asians can relate to each other a little bit more, parents who are not that emotional, and we always like the talk is not that good, with Asian parents most of the times. Um, it's really harsh. The only way they show love, not the only way, but one of the ways they show love is through cooking cooking you food. But not with the talking. With the talking, they are a little bit more strict, like have good grades and stuff like that. Why it's so bad and stuff like that. Like, Asian parents most of the times want, of course, only the best, but it's a little bit too much sometimes.
Yeah, cause I
Especially with the Vietnamese parents. I know he is Vietnamese, bro. Like Vietnamese parents probably are one of the most strict parents uh in the like in the Asian continent, I would
I
say.
grew up only child with um traditional parents, and I was never really like if I had a problem, I didn't go to my parents. You know what I mean? I would kind of just deal with it myself.
Okay.
Amen. Amen. I can write you a poem for that, because like dealt really everything, like almost everything by myself, everything where what mentally is going on went going everything that went mentally, in my life, I really dealt it also alone. But that's where it's a little bit dangerous. If you don't get like any kind of help, you can just KYS, that is the dangerous part because it could happen to me, but thankfully, only because of one video. And that's why I'm also really thankful. Let's go.
What was that like?
It was hard to be honest with you. Obviously, I would want to tell my parents things, but I would do it, and then my parents would be just like the traditional way, just like
Uh-huh.
just suck it up type of
Wait.
thing. And also, my Vietnamese is kind of broken, so
Okay.
it'd be hard to communicate deeper issues with it.
Interesting. Okay. So and so are you why I don't know if this makes sense. Why the disclaimer? Like why do did you think about that? Like why would you say like hey, I may be smiling but it's hard for me?
Um, because I'm
To be honest, like that's the thing, a therapist is question you a lot. S- Like question, and then and then analyze, and then try to help. But it like most of the problems that they are like if you solve the root of the problem, then it's all gone, So, but a therapist most of the times is like questioning, analyzing it, the one part only, the one part only, and then give you advice for that one part only. But the thing is with spiritualism, it everything is connected. Everything is connected. So if you solve, if you get rid of the root, which is fear, then basically you will be better in life. I
Being
promise you
serious, but
that.
like maybe the
Okay.
smile might throw you off or something.
Okay.
Like, okay, why? Like why the disclaimer uh that he is smiling. He's just trying to be honest, and basically telling the therapist everything honestly, and he is also vulnerable, by all, like admitting it, and saying like I am laughing, but that's like my cope mechanism. All of that, you should understand it. Like you don't even have to question like why do you have a disclaimer in saying that, and the disclaimer also goes for the chat
Sure.
probably.
And what did you want to talk about today?
Um, well, a lot of things, obviously.
Like I don't know. You can give a question, but it's like always the same. I feel like, family problems, problems with friends, in relationships, in work, maybe drugs, food should be a really big one, stuff like that, like. But all right, yeah, you can question
Okay, sure.
it.
Relationship issues, building relationship issues,
Okay.
maintaining relationship issues,
Okay.
um, dealing with you know a chat that has an opinion on you every day.
I think I saw this guy somewhere, but okay, doesn't matter.
Um,
What?
has an opinion on you every day. Um,
Yeah,
par-
tell me about it, man.
It's just an opinion. It's just an opinion. It's something they created and they think, like an opinion is basically just it doesn't have to be reality. You know what I mean? Like they can say, "Hey man, you look ugly." That's it, their opinion. Somebody would say, "Oh, he looks good." You know what I mean? So, bro, come on. It is
parasocialism, if
just
that's a word.
Okay.
an
So
opinion.
relationships, building relationships, maintaining relationships, parasocial relationships. But also it sounds like I mean, I don't know if this like maps onto now, but like it sounds like in the past you've had, I'm trying to figure out, like maybe like
Oh,
not really
oh,
someone you can count on.
Um,
wait a
I
second.
did like my first relationship.
Uh-huh.
I met her through streaming.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
What a recipe for success.
yeah, I know, I
Let's
know,
go.
I know. It was bad. It was bad. Like she was great, but
Yeah.
it just did not work out. And
Wait a minute. He just said that he found a girlfriend on stream, and now he has a girlfriend he found basically on stream, Sakura. And that was 10 months ago. Come on, bro. You
it
should
was
have
long
you should have learned it by now. But hey,
That's very
okay.
distance,
challenging.
and people on the internet always judgmental. So
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah,
yeah,
so we can
like
absolutely talk about all that. I think I hope I can shed some light on some of those topics, and like hopefully you can come away with like a better understanding of how some of this stuff works.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, and I've worked with a few hundred creators over the last 5 years, so like that's also been a weird thing that kind of like popped up out of nowhere, where like y'all just have different lives. We have different lives, and I think sometimes it's really hard because it's like hard to understand what that's like.
yeah.
Um, so why don't you? Tell me a little bit about what you mean by relationships. So you said you wanted to talk about relationships. What about them?
Um, I think
It's
after
cold,
my
guys.
first relationship, I So this is let me just tell you what I did after my first relationship.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
I'd love to hear.
Uh, it's a funny story. So yeah, broke up with her, and then I didn't really have time to, I guess, grieve the relationship,
Okay.
if that's the right term. I literally booted Stream up the next day,
Okay.
and obviously when you boot Stream, you gotta put on a smile, this that, and I think my main form of content before like now it's different. I've trying to strayed away of the girl content, but my main like thing was like talking to girl, like just being funny, just talking to girls and stuff. So it was like hard because I was like, damn, I just broke up with my girl, but my main source of content at the time was talking to girl. But it's just complicated, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, I mean,
I would
so what was hard about that for you?
it felt like
What's hard, bro? Okay, let me tell you what was so hard about it, all right? Bro, he broke up with his girlfriend, all right? The very next day, he booted up Stream. He streamed. And, like he maybe feels bad that he just broke up with his ex-girlfriend and then talked to other women the very next day and putting up a front, like a smile on his face, even if he is not in a good mindset. And bro, like I understand the therapists are questioning so much, but bro, if you like in the spiritualism, bro, it's really like if you really think about it, you will find the answer most of the times for yourself. Like, why was it hard? Or like, bro, come on. Like therapists, come on, bro.
what you know what I mean. So
Yeah, I mean,
I would
so what was hard about that for you?
it felt like
All right, all right.
well, I'll just tell you how we broke up. Well, we broke up
Sure.
because of Stream and what I did on Stream. It mentally affected her, and what I did was, I would talk to girls, but not in a serious way.
Okay.
I would
And
joke around and fake flirt. It sounds
okay.
corny and cringe, but like that's what I did back then.
What's cringe about that?
I mean,
Bro, these questions, bro, like it's it's just like, bro, he's putting up a front. That's all for content. Like, what's cringe about it, bro? Like, come on, bro. Like, these questions, bro. Like, I'm getting mad from him questions so much. Like, all right,
you. I mean, it's just cringe. It's just
Okay.
kind of cringe.
Okay. I mean, sounds entertaining,
No, it
and
was.
I think people don't really know how to flirt as well as they used to.
Yeah.
Almost sounds a little bit educational.
It was. I mean, it was entertainment, right?
Yeah,
I
sure.
was just trying to be.
maybe he is not really into that, but like the whole e-dating stuff, I know what he means, because I watched like Aiden Ross e-dates, Kai Cenat e-dates. Yeah, his e-dates I didn't watch, to be honest, but probably it's the same content and stuff like that, or F models and stuff, bro. Like, yeah, that's corny a little bit, yeah, but you do it for content, but yeah, you could do better content, which you are doing now. Yeah,
Entertaining,
which I
and
like more, of
to do that,
course.
I was like, um, risen.
So okay, so what was and maybe I can put the pieces together. And we don't need to talk too much about her, but can you sketch out for me like what was like what was wrong with that?
Well, obviously, no girls wants their boyfriend to watch him talk to other girls,
Okay.
and then
especially in a flirty way,
you know,
trying to rid
chat
them up.
would create Instagram accounts with zero followers, zero following, and DM her, comparing her to other girls. Um, you know, it was just
That's
like mentally, it was just mentally bad for her.
yeah, that's a whole different ball game though. Like you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's like making content and then there's also like people like DMing you.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a different,
Yeah.
level of like and that sounds really hard.
You know, it was hard
There's no way
for
he's
both.
the number one
Like
therapist.
I
That has to be clickbait, bro.
can't control that, but
That has to
also
be
Yeah.
clickbait. But
I feel like
also, when I had my therapist for one session, and after that, she's like, no, I don't think I can deal with you anymore. And I'm like, oh, a therapist want the easiest cut of customers, not the difficult customers, And then I was like, then I looked at it again, what like therapists are doing and stuff like that, and I was like, oh my God, bro, like this is not for me at all because I also saw she's told me you can see it like that. I am the master and you are the student, and I'm like, no, I'm not seeing it like that. I see it like I am a human being and you are a human being. Like you are not above me. I'm telling you, therapists, they are also just human beings. They just learn something, learn some content, and then they use that content. But it is not the full, basically, the full in the inside and stuff like that. I'm telling you straight up, it's not.
it was my
It's not.
fault because that's my community. You know what I mean?
Sure. Sure. Did you get blamed for it?
No, and I get blamed for it, but it would still affect her.
Sure. And what's it like to talk about this?
Um, I never really talked. I mean, I have, but not to.
What is it like to talk about this? Like, what is he trying to do? Like, maybe get a, like, maybe see how, like, his emotions are when he's talking about like that. Like, oh, wait.
Talked. I mean, I have, but not to this extent. I think.
Wait, what he did
Sure.
he
And what's it like to talk about this?
Um, not
like
really.
why do you want to know? Like how does it help you? How does this information would help a therapist?
I never really talked. I mean, I have, but not to this extent. I think feels good. Feels good.
In what way?
Um,
Yo, bro, the thing is with spiritualism, you don't want them to think that much, Well, okay, you should think, but not in that kind of sense. Like, how do you feel right now? What do you feel like? How, like when you talk about this topic, how do you feel? When you talk about this topic, how do you feel? No, it really should be about like you explaining something and not just question. I mean, probably he will explain, but after analyzing. So a bunch of questions, just with the therapist I had, probably basically like a test, then analyze it, and then give you the result. That's not how it's supposed to be, like the get to the root problem tell him or her how he get there, and that's it. Like I don't want to see you ever again in my whole life after that. After this session, I told you everything you need to know to get a better life. If you don't understand it, run it back because that's a video now. Um, yeah, after that, if I would ever do like a session like that, like a talk like that, after this, y don't ever ask me for any kind of advice because I already told you everything and you need to learn it for yourself. Only you can really help yourself. And after that, then comes like realization what you truly are, nothing. Spoiler alert, nothing. I'm sorry, I didn't say spoiler alert the first time, and so on so forth. And but a lot of people don't wanna like realize that, like what? What do you mean I am nothing? Like I am a human being and stuff like that. But on the inside, you don't have to be anything. That's the beauty of it. Because if you are not anything, and if you are nothing, you are free. You are free. You know, you don't have the burden of, oh my God, I am Johnny. I'm 29 years old. I don't even have a girlfriend right now. I would like to have a wife or whatever. I would like to have $1 million. I would like to have a better life and stuff like that. All these thoughts are not right there. But okay, okay, let's see. Like, bruh.
I'm never really the person to talk about my problems to people.
Mhm.
I'm more the person that like to just like get over things. That's just how I was raised. So I guess it feels good to just be open.
That's how I was raised too. That's how I was raised too. Just deal with it, you know, life goes on. I mean, that's true, basically, to deal with it, and life goes on. But if you don't know how to deal with it, then it becomes a problem. Then you will probably isolate yourself just like me. You probably will have a really, really high wall. My wall was over like this, over like reached over the sky and the universe and stuff like that. Nobody could touch me. But the thing is, then if you get hurt, you are already isolated. You can hurt yourself still. That is the thing. Maybe, you are really cold. Nobody can really hurt you, but it hurts you a little bit. It tackles the wall a little bit again and again and again, and it tickles. You get a little bit hurt, but not that much anymore. But still, you can hurt yourself through negative thinking by saying, "Oh my God, my life is so bad." Everybody who is important to me, was important to me, is dead now. Dying. What when my parents die and stuff like that, like thinking, 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 isolation, more thinking. And that's what we want to get rid of, like explain it. Like, for what do you even need all these questions,
Yeah, and it
bro?
sounds like you kind of got over it, right? You sort of did that, like you just streamed the next day.
Like I feel like it's so superficial. It should never be superficial. That is the thing. It should never be superficial, especially if you're talking about mental health and stuff like that. You really have to dig deep. Dig really, really deep until you find the root. And if you find the root, I'm telling you right now, bro, I went from suicidal to grateful for life. So come on, like you can do it.
Yeah, yeah. It was crazy.
Just streamed the next day.
Yeah, yeah. It was crazy. I don't know how I
And
did it.
what what do you? I know it sounds kind of weird, but like, what's it like to be someone who just gets over it?
I mean,
Nobody just gets over it. Oh my God, bro. He just said, like, you have to really listen, bro. Like, therapist, bro, number one therapist. You really have to listen. He said, I didn't grieve right away, like, but he could have grieved later because everybody will grieve sometime, you know. Sometime everybody will grieve. Like when I broke up with my girlfriend, um, I didn't feel it at all because we were still writing and stuff like that. And then she told me that she is, seeing another guy. They go to the a trip on a mountain where we were, and I was like, okay, you like, but I already told her, like, I mean, I can say it now. I cheated on her, so, and she forgave me, and I was like, nah, I can't do it anymore. Like, I will have it always in the back of my mind that I cheated, So, I broke up with her. She, no, 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 wait. I cheated on her. She forgave me, but after that, a while, some time, passed, and I still broke up with her. That is really brutal, I know. Um, but yeah, I didn't grieve right after it, even after she got another one. But I also, yeah, I told her, you will find somebody else who will treat you better and stuff like that. And she probably did find somebody better. So yeah, everything good right there. But still, my thought were sometimes like, wow, she was really, like, really a good girl, you know what I mean? Like, she didn't really do anything wrong, to be honest, like, ever, you know? So, but I feel like it was good that we broke up because I probably wouldn't be here right now. I probably maybe would have married her with depression and stuff like that, daddy issues, and that would be maybe, I feel like, a little bit happy, but I would be a completely another person, But now I know that personality is like fake, you created it yourself. So, all right, all right.
Yeah. One thing about me is I have a goldfish memory. So if something bad happens to me,
Me too, me too.
the next day,
Wait, okay, yeah, I grieved about like 3 months after she told me, okay, I am seeing somebody else. That's also where I was like, all right, I need to cut it off because I can't deal with that. And then I was gaming and stuff like that. And then it comes from time to time, it came, like, what is she up to and stuff like that. I really miss her, and maybe I will try to talk with her or write her again, but I didn't. I didn't. Um, but yeah, all right.
I'll uh I'll kind of just forget about it. The next day, so if something bad happens to me,
Wait,
one thing about me is I have a goldfish memory. So if something bad happens to me, the next day, I'll uh I'll kind of just forget about it. But then I'll end up remembering it like maybe months down the line or a couple weeks down the line, and then it'll hit me hard. You know what I mean?
hey, hey, Jason, I love the honesty because now I have the same thing, because I try to forget about it. I'm like, nah, like, let's brush it off and stuff like that. But the thought will someday come again. Like the thought about ex-girlfriend, your dog that died, the pet, whatever it is, it will hit you harder. If you ignore it, trying to escape from it, it will come back and again because you never confront it. you always escape it. And it's like you need to solve that. You need to solve that to be free from that. And bro, if you don't, if you, hey bro, if the number one therapist is not talking about that, bro, come on,
Hard, you know what I mean?
therapist, come on, now say something.
What's that like?
Bro, I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy, bro. Like there's no way he studied, he became a psychiatrist, and he's like, uh, ah, yeah. So what's that like? You know, then another story, like maybe something with his parents, and then it's like, okay, what can I say? What can I ask? Maybe, oh yeah, what that like? What that like? And how's that? Like, bro, see it, like see his emotions and stuff like that. Like it's really hard for him. Like he is crossing his arms, leaned back. Like it's really difficult for him to even admit all that, and you should take the lead and stop questioning like these stupid questions, bro. Like, bro, like these therapist questions, bro. Like, it drives me insane, bro.
It's sad. It was sad. Like for example, I would boo.
Like, what do you thought? What would you think that is? Like, what that like? Yeah, that's probably like he was probably pretty happy about it. Like, no, he sad, grief, sorrow. Why do you even have? And then he's reading his papers because he can't remember everything. Like, I mean, I can't even remember everything, but come on, bro. Like, if it's really important, be conscious enough to remember a few things that are like the key things, and then you go, bro, bro, bro. Like,
Upstream after the breakup, and then
I think I really have to become like a spiritualist. That's what I wanna do.
like a
Not that I want to become it, but it's just like a personality, not the real me.
month down the line, it hit me like, damn, I miss her. Uh, like I'm saying it with a smile on my face, but like that's the truth.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I can't. That's just like I feel like that's normal though. You know, I seen the way I seen like TikToks, right? Of like, oh, guys will get over a girl in a day, but then a month down the line be like, damn, I miss her.
Yes, 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 yes. And I heard also that girls miss the person right away most of the times, and then after they don't miss him anymore or them, they are good to go, but not all. Some really have it always in the past. Like some people, like not that you have to forget about it, because it's like it will be probably like always in your mind if you think about it most of the times. But let's say if you don't have any thought right now, how can you remember it if you don't have any thoughts? That's the goal. That's the goal, basically.
yeah. So and that sounds first of all super normal,
Mm-hmm.
and secondly, I think it's like
What is
kind of
normal?
weird, right? Because on the one hand, we sort of want to get the grieving out of the way. I
Okay,
think it's
okay, wait.
like kind of weird, right? Because on the one hand, we sort of want to get the grieving out of the way,
Yeah.
but on the other hand, like when you boot up Stream, you're sort of like, you can use Stream as a way to forget too,
Yeah, I
right?
think
So
I did
you
do
say,
that.
yeah, like you say, you have to put a smile on your face. So the other way to think about it is like, it's a way to like make sure you put a smile on your face.
Yeah.
It's a way to forget.
Mm-hmm.
And
Also, one thing I have to say, I'm sorry, I'm pausing a lot and I'm talking a lot, but for me, it's really, really, really important that everybody understands, everybody who is watching the video, that they understand it. I feel also I feel like the new generations, because of smartphones and stuff like that, the emotional thing side is even more worse. You know, like it's more difficult to show emotions and stuff like that, especially if you're on the phone quite a lot. You can most of the time just laugh, maybe be angry and stuff like that, but most of the people they don't show their vulnerable side, like crying and stuff like that. And they never really deal with that. I never really dealt with that until I, you know, was like 24 when I got spiritual. That's when I learned it's okay to cry, you know, because I really literally just cried when I was like a really, really young kid, like four until four, five, six. Wait, okay, no. I cried in school, you know, elementary school, secondary school a few times, most of the times when it started. You know, the teachers were nice and stuff like that. Um, I was a crybaby, you could say, but after the divorce, I got so isolated, I rarely cried because of anything anymore. You know, I rarely cried, really isolated. I only cried when somebody died, which I felt like was really important to me. Um, and stuff like that. And now it's easier for me to show emotions, like laughing, crying, and stuff like that. Just like a few months ago, I um I cried when I talked with my dad, where and also like well, I live with my dad right now, but I didn't live with him for since the divorce, you know, and yeah, it doesn't really matter why I cried, but I cried with as a 29 years old, you know? Like like I cried a lot becoming like after becoming spiritual, just because it had to go out. You know, I held it in so long, you know, and so much that it just had to go. And there are so many breakdowns from me, you know, where I really broke down and cried a lot because of these things, you know, and now I am more good through the breaking down, you know, you quite get humble, you know, and it's a good thing also. Like you have to probably you everybody will reach a certain point where they will break down mentally, physically, whatever it is. You will probably break down, and then it will be like, all right, do you get up again, or you're like, all right, it's over, you know, and that's a little bit dangerous
Then I think
for
it's
your
kind of
life.
challenging because like it feels kind of like like kind of like pop-ups and RNG where like one day you're like waking up, right? It's some random Tuesday, like a month later, and you're like, oh wow, like I didn't know I had all these feelings, and they kind of like come out of nowhere and they kind of like catch you by surprise.
Yeah, and
Oh my God, do I really have to explain everything, bro? Bro, what? All right. So thoughts are like clouds. They come and go. They come and go. They come and go. The thing is, when it comes, you are likely to identify yourself with it. You know, you think about it. You think about this thought, like an image of your ex-girlfriend appears in your mind. Or you're like, and then you're like, oh my God, I miss her. You know, I want her back. I shouldn't have done that. Uh, I should have treated her better and stuff like that. Um,
Come out of nowhere and they kind of like catch you by surprise.
oh yeah. And this goes for every person, for every human being. You will have a thought that you don't even want, but it comes, and it can hit you really hard because, then you identify yourself with it, you think about it, miss her and stuff like that. And that is the thing, if there are no thoughts, or if, thoughts can come, but you don't have to identify yourself with it, you just observe it. You just observe it as it is a cloud. And then slowly the cloud, aka the thought, will vanish. And it is getting weaker. It is getting weaker and weaker and weaker until it vanishes. And it might be that it will never show up randomly again because you confront it. Through observation, you confront that, and then I promise you, like that's how I do it, and I think every human being can do it because every human being have thoughts in their heads that are just come and go, and everybody can observe their thoughts. I know that for a fact. Like if you can't do that, you are not a human being, basically. Um, yeah, and that's how you get rid of these thoughts, just by observing and not identifying yourself. Never, never, don't do it.
Yeah,
Because then
and
you get into a rabbit hole and you don't want to end there.
and the 1 month I didn't really think about this until like a month after. It's kind of messed up, but I really did prioritize streaming over someone that I
Was in
loved.
love and
And low key, that's kind of depressing.
What's what's messed up and depressing about that?
bro, as a therapist, you should know. Yo, there is no way. Is he doing that for content because he's a streamer? Or like what is going on? Like there is no way, bro. I always knew that therapists are not that, bro. That I knew. Like even Sadhguru is doing a better job than he does, bro. Like I'm telling you straight up.
Well, I chose work and streaming over
Like
depressing.
will just repeat what he just said, bro.
What's what's messed up and depressing about that?
I loved.
Like he just said it and then you'd ask him again, bro.
That
Well, I chose work and streaming over someone that I loved, which is like, I feel like it's bad morally, maybe, if that's a right word.
It's the right word.
okay. Do you wish that were different?
Oh my god.
Mm, I don't. No, no, no,
Ah, see, now we're getting somewhere.
no. But it's like still in the back of my mind, like, am I the person for that?
Hold. So I don't think so, Jason. But this is where, like, I don't know if this makes sense, but like, I asked you that. Was it okay that I asked you that question?
Yeah.
Was it okay that I asked you that question? Like he really is questioning everything, bro. He really is questioning everything. You should question everything, but bro, if it's like talking to each other like that, you should know better. Like these kind of questions you don't have to even question. Like most of the questions he asked should have never been asked, bro. Like there's no way, bro.
I don't think so, Jason. But this is where, like, I don't know if this makes sense, but like, I asked you that. Was it okay that I asked you that question?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So, like, what's your understanding of why I asked? Because here you.
Okay, bro. Like, all right, bro. Damn. Like, First of all, why is it so bad? Like, why is it depressing? And it's why is it bad for mental health? It's all about the mental health. It's all about the mental. You don't confront it right away. You prioritize something else, your job, your work, which is also fine. But if you are not mentally healthy, that is a bigger problem to have. So you always should have your mental straight. It should always be healthy. And if you are not healthy, it is really a problem. It can get really dangerous and stuff like that. Um, these questions,
You
bro.
are saying, oh, it's like it's up because I'm choosing streaming over like someone that I love. And then I don't say like, yeah, man.
Oh, wait a second. It's 1 hour and 10 minutes. All right, I stop it right there. It's part one, bro.